You know, I was watching Steven Crowder earlier because Crowder's awesome. And he mentioned something that was really interesting. And then I was watching Tim Pool a couple hours ago, and Tim also mentioned the same thing. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make a video on it because I can and it's interesting. If I were to ask my fellow conservatives to think of one word that describes the left, their political mindset, right, their policy positions in the Democrat Party. Because let's be honest, the Democrat Party is the left. It's not two separate things. What would that word be? The word that comes to my mind is victimhood. Right? That is the central core element of the Democrat position. You are a victim because you're black. You're a victim because you're a woman. You're a victim because you're Muslim. You're a victim because you're fat. You're a victim because you're trans. You're a victim because of insert variable. And because you're a victim, the entire system is set up against you. You are the oppressed. Everyone else is the oppressors. And that is the mindset. That is why the left latches on to Black Lives Matter, which is a terrorist organization, should be, is a black supremacist organization that is racist, by the way. Fat pride, the trans garbage. That's why they support these crazy pride parades that happen where people are engaging in acts of public indecency. Victimhood. And it's genius. It's genius. Much as I despise the left, it's genius. Why? Because it's self-fulfilling. Think about it. If I was having a conversation with a young black guy who was convinced that he was a victim of society, and I tell him, no, you're not a victim. You're not a victim. You're not oppressed because you're black. Everybody suffers. Everybody has hard times. Maybe you made bad decisions. Maybe you did something that you shouldn't have done, and that's why you haven't been able to succeed. Maybe you haven't put in the effort or the time or the work in order to succeed. Whatever it might be. But I level at him a reason why he's not a victim. I give him some other reasonable explanation for why he has his grievance. Because I'm white, my position, no matter how well reasoned, is immediately discarded. Swap him out with a woman, and a man telling that woman why she's not oppressed in modern America, in the West. Immediately dismissed, because a man who sits at a higher level of this caste system the left has convinced their adherence exists, because the man sits at a higher level of that caste system than the woman in their mind, she doesn't have to listen to him. He has nothing to tell her, nothing valuable to tell her at all. He can't possibly have anything to say that's of any value. This immediate kneecapping of discussion exists in every combination of left-wing ideology and conservative ideology that you can put together that exists. Right? Any conservative person cannot convince a liberal person, or is handicapped in the process of trying to convince a liberal person using reason and logic and facts about why their victim mentality is wrong, because of the victim mentality itself. It's self-feeding, it's cannibalistic, and yet it also bolsters itself. It's reinforcing itself at the same time. This is the same reason, by the way, you see liberal leftists who will tell black conservatives that you shouldn't be a conservative because the mean white people who are Trump people are bad, Republicans are bad, they're racist. Even if the black person is like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? What do you mean? Or you see this happen with feminists, male feminists even, when they're talking to female conservatives who are MAGA. You shouldn't be. They're men. They're sexist. They're bad. Because that mindset, they can't, even when it doesn't pertain to them, they cannot use reason. They cannot be reasoned with. There's no logic there. It's designed to not allow for logical, reason-based conversation. It is built to handicap that immediately. Immediately. But the victimhood thing is genius, not just for that one reason. It's also genius for another reason. And again, credit to Crowder and Tim Pool for this, because I thought this was really interesting, and they're correct. It's also used, or it's also reinforced whenever somebody who ascribes to that mindset, that worldview, is punished for transgressing, my mustache getting in the way, transgressing against the law. So if a Antifa member sucker punches somebody at a rally and they get arrested, that arrest is then used by them as justification, as proof. See? Fascism. They arrested me. If a transgender person goes into a Catholic school and massacres a bunch of children and they get arrested, see? Fascism. It's the straight people harassing the trans, it's the cis people harassing the trans people. That's fascism. See? We told you. If a black guy stabs a white girl on a train and gets arrested, well, that's racism. See? It's racism. Because he's black. He's black. So not only does it completely kneecap logical discussion almost immediately by design, it also is designed and framed in such a way so that any action taken to punish somebody who ascribes to that worldview because of a transgression that they make against existing law and social norms is then, that punishment for that transgression is then used to bolster, reinforce, and confirm their bullshit notion. I have no fucking clue how you figure that out. I have no idea how you beat that kind of a mentality. I don't even know if it's possible. I don't think from the outside it's even possible to be able to convince somebody who has that worldview that they're wrong. I don't think you can do it. But we got to do it anyway. We don't have a choice. Like, they're targets on our backs anyway. Conservatives, Republicans. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, just being a Republican is enough to have a target on your back. They don't care. Oh, and one other thought that I wanted to put to words here, and this isn't really the spot for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. To all of the liberals out there who might not have liked Charlie Kirk, might not like me because I voted Donald Trump 3 times, might disagree with everything that I believe in and Charlie Kirk believes in and Donald Trump believes in, but you were willing to have a conversation. If you were a liberal who disagreed with Charlie and was willing to show up to event with Charlie to talk to him, to debate him, I want you to understand very clearly that if it had been a bomb and not a bullet, they would just as easily and without remorse killed you also. For the record, if you were willing to talk to somebody on the other side of the political spectrum, they would be just as willing to kill you too. Just as willing. Anytime a leftist has a mind altering experience that starts to shift them away from just being hook, line, and sinker into the left wing ideology, they get turned on by the left almost immediately. It happened to Anna Kasparian whenever she had that experience where she was sexually accosted, and the left immediately turned on her. They eat their own. If you are willing to engage somebody like me in a conversation, or somebody like Charlie in a conversation, or somebody like Crowder in a conversation, or Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, pick whoever it might be, you might detest their views. But if you are willing to talk to them, have a civilized conversation with them, and you are liberal, they would kill you too. And they wouldn't bat a fucking eyelid, and they wouldn't shed a fucking tear for you, because you're part of the problem. You are also an enemy, just like me. So, why are we on opposite sides here? At least for right now. They would kill you too. If it had been a bomb, and a bunch of people had been killed at that Charlie Kirk event, and they went through and collected remains, and let's say they were able to identify a left-wing influencer or commentator who had gone to this Charlie Kirk event to debate him, that person would have also been immediately celebrated for being dead. Immediately. No remorse, no sympathy, none. Because that person had the audacity to engage in civil discourse with somebody they disagreed with. They would kill you too. They would show no remorse too. They would laugh too. They would show up at your vigils too. They would mock your family too. They would harass your family too. They do not care about you. Liberals out there who are still part of the left, if you are willing to have civil conversations with people on my side of the aisle, they would kill you too. There is no reason for us to be enemies right now. I'm not saying that we have to agree on policy at all. But I do think that we should be shoulder to shoulder against people who would want both of us dead. I think that's fair.